It's all about the girls today. Let's hear it for the girls. Woohoo! Isn't this great to have a Girls' Day? I'm Lisa Boone. I'm the director of the Kentucky Innovation Network's Elizabethtown region, and I am so happy to host this event today, along with my partners from Boss Lady Coaching, Holly Sexton and Megan Stith. Please stand up. And let me tell you who Holly and Megan are. That you may think you already know. Holly's that girl from the radio, but no. Holly and Megan are entrepreneurs, and that's what we're here today to learn about entrepreneurism. Big, long word. So let's talk about that word. An entrepreneur is someone who owns their own business or is starting their own business. And Holly and Megan own their own business. And that's what I do all day long, work with startup companies and help people get their businesses off the ground. So thank you all for being here and part of this. We have so many generous sponsors today for making this all possible. I won't go through the list. You can look at your programs there and see who they are. But if you will just take a moment as you look at that, and note one thing that all of those sponsors have in common if you look at that. They are all local, successful, female entrepreneurs and leaders right here in our community. So let's give them a round of applause for making this day possible. This morning, you're going to see a film and you're going to be challenged to think about a special path that your life might take. Have any of you ever thought about starting your own business? Let's see a show of hands. Anybody ever thought about that? Great. Oh, that's good. We've got a lot of budding entrepreneurs here. Great. Well, you're going to see a film about a couple of girls who had the idea to start their business. And it's an independent film. It's not your typical film that you see on TV or you go to the movies to see, okay? If you'll just hang with this film, okay? It's about almost an hour long. You might get bored at times, but I want you to really hang in there with this. It tells the story of these two entrepreneurs and all the struggles that they faced, the challenges, and failure after failure. But if you just hang in there to the end, I think you are going to be pleasantly surprised. So just try to hang in there with their story as it goes along. So you'll learn a lesson about if you have a dream, to hang in there with that dream. I saw a lot of dreamers here. I saw a lot of hands go up. Hang in there with that dream and persevere. As you will see in this film, it pays off in the end. So I want you to just buckle up. We're going to have a fun ride. When we get finished with the film, we're going to have some great panelists of local female entrepreneurs right here in the community that are going to be out here for about an hour. You're going to be able to pick their brain and find out how they got their company started and let them share their stories. But before we get there, we have a very important speaker, a wonderful female leader that is going to come out and say a few words to you. On November the 8th of 2015, Janine Hampton was elected Kentucky's 57th Lieutenant Governor on a ticket with our now Governor, Matt Bevin. Lieutenant Governor Hampton became the first African American in Kentucky history to hold statewide office, and the fourth woman to serve as Lieutenant Governor. Lieutenant Governor Hampton holds a bachelor's degree in industrial engineering and an MBA with concentrations in marketing, entrepreneurship, and e-commerce. She served for 7 years in the United States Air Force and has 25 years of experience in manufacturing. The Lieutenant Governor is focusing her efforts on what she calls the 4 E's: entrepreneurship, education, emergency preparedness, and being an example. So we're really going to concentrate on 2 of those things today, entrepreneurship, and you're going to see some excellent examples. But at this time, it is my honor to introduce to you the Lieutenant Governor of the Commonwealth of Kentucky, Janine Hampton. And you might adjust that up so that
All right. Good morning, ladies. How are you all this morning? I hope you guys are as excited as I am. This is on this Good Friday. I decided to spend part of my Good Friday with you all because I am just so enthusiastic about entrepreneurship. Now, I am not a business owner. I always wanted to start my own business, but I could never narrow it down to the one thing that I thought I would love to do. But I think it's pretty cool that I get to encourage folks like you all to maybe someday start your own businesses. So one of the things I've done as Lieutenant Governor is I've started a contest called the Lieutenant Governor's Entrepreneurship Challenge. Anybody here watch Shark Tank? Who watches Shark Tank? Oh, I usually get a lot of hands. I love that you guys watch that. This is kind of Shark Tank. Now, it's for high schoolers, 9th through 12th grade, but stay tuned because we're thinking about opening this up to middle schoolers starting next year. So we're in our 2nd year. So let me tell you how this works. So teams of 2 to 4 students, and this is open to public school, private school, if it's a Catholic school, if it's homeschoolers. Even someone even asked me if students were incarcerated, could they participate? And I said, if there's a team that's incarcerated and they want to participate, we'll figure out how to get them to the competition. And in the 2nd year, we actually have one team of students who are incarcerated, which I think is pretty cool. So this is how it works. So the teams, you need at least 2 students, maximum 4, 2 to 4 students. Every team needs 1 adult mentor, and that can be anyone. Preferably not a parent, but if it's a parent, that's okay. And so a coach, every team needs a coach. And then you just need an idea. And so I want you all to be watching for this because the registration for this will be Halloween. And all we need to know on Halloween, by Halloween, is your team, who your team members are, who your coach is, and what your idea is. And so here's what happens. You will write a business plan. And I know that sounds kind of big and daunting, but there's information on our website to help you through it, to help you know what goes in there into a business plan. So you write a business plan, you'll do a video, and then you'll pitch in front of judges. And let me tell you, we're starting the 2nd year. We're going to do the 2nd year starting next month. But the 1st year we did this, the teams were simply amazing. And most of them had never, ever written a business plan before. And they had some fantastic ideas. And here's what's at stake this year. We're giving away $100,000 in scholarship money. And that money can be spent at any Kentucky-based post-secondary educational institute. It can be a 2-year college, a 4-year college, a tech school. It could be something online as long as it's based in Kentucky. And so the top overall 4 teams are going to split $100,000. And in addition to that, the top 2 teams will automatically be enrolled in the Governor's School for Entrepreneurs. Normally you have to apply, and they only take 60 kids. So they're going to take the top 2 teams. And in addition to that, several colleges and universities have put together their own prize packages. They want to choose a team that they think, that they like. And so, for example, the University of Louisville is offering a prize package that includes some coaching, some advice. You get to tour their entrepreneurship resources. At Asbury University is offering additional scholarship money. They're offering to the top team an additional $4,000 per student. So there's some serious money here. So I want you all to be thinking, I know school's going to be out when in May? Is that when school is out for most of you? Maybe June with the snow days? Okay, June. But you're going to have a whole summer to do whatever you want to be doing. And I want you to be looking for ideas, because there's ideas all around you. There is opportunity. You know what an entrepreneur does? All an entrepreneur is somebody who solves a problem. They see a need and they decide to meet that need. And you all see that every single day. Let me tell you about the winning team. The first year we did this, the Entrepreneurship Challenge. The winning team was from Davis County High School in Owensboro, and it was a team of 4 young men, all seniors, and they came up with an idea to help you all not miss your school bus. What they did was they came up with an idea that has an arrivals departure board, kind of like you see at an airport. So they would have an arrivals departure board at the school for the school buses, and then every student would have an app on their phone. You would have an app on your phone, and the app would tell you when your bus was coming to the school, or if it was loading, if it was boarding, and then, hey, you better hustle because your bus is leaving in 2 minutes, right? You really better hustle. And you know how the young man thought about this? You know how he came up with this idea? He had moved to Davis County High School in the middle of the school year, and he said in the first 4 days, he missed his bus 3 times. 3 times. So out of that, an idea was born, and so that team walked away with first place, and they did a phenomenal job. They really did. They did their analysis, because what we look for in the business plan is you need to know how much before, and these are questions that you would ask yourself before you would ever go in, or you should ask yourself before you go into business. How much does it cost to make your product or service? And who do you think is going to buy it? And how big is that pool of people who you think is going to buy it? And how are you going to reach those people to tell them to buy your product? Why should they buy your product? You should know these answers before you go into business. And so if you participate in the Lieutenant Governor's Entrepreneurship Challenge, you will have solid experience before you ever start your own business. So be watching for an announcement. We're going to try to get the announcement down to all the schools and make sure you all know about it, because I think we're going to open this up to middle schoolers, because too many middle schoolers are asking me why they can't participate. So I'm here to watch this. I can't wait to see this movie. I know that what entrepreneurs do is take a risk. It's a big risk, but the rewards are just so great. So I hope that someday some of you start your own businesses, and I can say that I was here in the room with you all when you got some idea, and the next big thing could come out of Kentucky, and it could be started by some of you in this room today. How cool would that be? How cool would that be? Yeah, fantastic. So I'm not going to delay. I'm going to go take my seat so we can watch the movie, and I'll be around I'm looking forward to the panel discussion, and if you have any questions of me, I'll be happy to answer them at that point. So thank you all.
Good morning. I'm Holly Sexton with Boss Lady Coaching. My business partner, friend, and our timekeeper this morning is Megan Stith. She's also in the audience. It is a pleasure to be with you today. While the PAC staff makes set changes, like we're going to invite our entrepreneurs to come up, and thank you so much for this nice setup. We appreciate you, PAC staff. We're ready to get started with our panel, but before, we have a little exercise to do, not with our bodies or with our voices or anything else. I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to think about what we just watched, think about the film, and I want you to think about how you could put yourself in that film. And I want you to think about a question that you would like to ask about your future. Just take a minute and think about it quietly. Okay, hold on to that question. The last few minutes of our time together today will be for one of you, several of you, to stand up at one of the microphones. There's a microphone down here by the exit, and also another right over here where you can ask your questions. If we do not get to your question today, we are limited on time. You can visit BeTheBossCoaching.com and you can ask your question there. We also have a free podcast featuring local female entrepreneurs. We're also on Facebook at Boss Lady Coaching, so you can look us up. Also, teachers. You will receive an email survey from John Wright and Susan Ryan for the students And it's on SurveyMonkey, so it's quick, it's easy to fill out, and it will help us to create better events for you in the future. So thank you in advance for doing that later today, because I know we're headed to spring break. Woo woo! Yeah. So, yeah, woo, we're headed to spring break. But it's important because we want these events to be better for you. So, okay, now we welcome our distinguished panel to She Started It. Ladies, meet your audience. Say hello.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
And we'll take a minute to introduce ourselves. I'll start. My name is Holly Sexton. I'm a radio personality and co-founder of Boss Lady Coaching, a Boss Lady Coaching podcast. Okay, I started. Now let's start here and go down the line, all right?
My name is Michelle Harmon. I am a wife and mother of 10 children and the CEO of Family Fun Cafe and Ice Cream in Redcliffe.
Welcome her, everybody. Give her a hand.
Good morning. I am Tanya Seabrooks. I'm Radcliffe City Councilwoman and also owner of T. Monet Events and also a mortgage loan officer for Citizens Union Bank. So I'm a girl that wears many hats.
Thank you for being here.
Hello, I'm Lydia Drexler. I am a wife, a mother of 4, and a grandmother of 6. I am the co-founder of Drexler Construction and the founder of Associated Realtors Real Living and Goat City Realty Property Management and Drexler Development Corporation. So look forward to visiting with you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Bobby Crabtree. I'm the founder and CEO of USA Bridal, Tuxedo Avenue, and your party shoes. Thanks for having me today.
I'm Kelly Immerine, and I started a company called Mom's MedMinder, and I also am a business advisor and work in business development for a company called Argy Financial. And my girls, I have 2 twin girls that go to Morningside Elementary, and yep, I knew there were some E-Town girls in here, and I'm happy to be here.
Thank you.
My name's Rebecca Wheeling, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of a company called Schedule It. And we schedule for insurance adjusters all across the United States and Canada and Puerto Rico whenever catastrophes happen. And I'm a native here of Elizabethtown. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Janine Hampton. I'm the Lieutenant Governor of Kentucky. I am an engineer. I'm a former programmer. I've run a plant, and it is my dream to learn to program apps. It's still on my bucket list. I'm going to do that. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you, ladies. We'll get right into it. Kelly, what are some tips that you could give to the audience members today interested in learning about entrepreneurship?
I think just to expand your world and your horizons. I know sometimes when you're in school, you're very concentrated on your friends and what they're doing and what you have on your schedule. But if you have a dream of owning a business someday or being an entrepreneur or learning about something that you don't really know about, then go and find it and ask people. And when you're on social media or on the internet, look for podcasts or entrepreneurs that interest you or inspiration, things that you can search and find and ask people and find mentors and just go beyond maybe your walls or what you think might be possible for you or what maybe your family is interested in. It's okay to be different and to look and research and just learn and seek information.
We saw some of that in the movie, too, in the film where the family expectations didn't line up with the entrepreneur's goals. And that's difficult sometimes, so I'm really glad Kelly mentioned that. Michelle, as a business owner and entrepreneur, this is a hard one. What has been the most challenging obstacle you faced?
I'm going to say the most
Pick
challenging.
one. There's a lot.
I'm going to say the most challenging obstacle has been myself. And I say that, there's a saying that says, when you conquer the enemy within, those outside of that can cause no harm. And so the biggest challenge has always been, you know, those negative voices that I may hear. You're not smart enough, no one's done this before, you know, do you really think you can do this? And so I had to silence those voices and begin to speak affirmations to myself. I find those reading the Bible. I'll also really dig deep and find people, like the lady was saying, I don't have anyone that I can look to that looks like me. I was born in '68, so anyone that looks like me that I could really look to and call up and say, hey, how do I do this? And so whenever I have an opportunity, such as the ladies here, you know, if it's 5 minutes, I'm going to get as much information as I can. But it's basically going out and getting the resources myself and removing all the excuses, looking at what the excuses are and saying, okay, how do I overcome that? How can I go in a different, non-traditional way to obtain the answers for that?
Does anyone here struggle with those thoughts? Sometimes I do. Rebecca, I have to know, how do you spend your time each day? Some people say, I don't have time for that, or I don't have, you know, that kind of thing. What do you say to that?
I think you have to be strategic about how you utilize your time. You only have a certain amount of it every single day. And so for me, I have a routine. I get up every morning, I do my Bible study, and then I make it my top 5 list. Now, let me tell you, my list can go from 40 to 60. You know, there's the family list, there's the wife list, then there's the work list, then there's the programming list, and there's the marketing list, and all these different lists. But you have to pick your top 5 things that you're going to get done today. Commit to them. Get them done early in the morning so that the rest of your day you can work on the other things that are on your list. But how you utilize your time each day will determine where you go in life. And so I think as 7th graders, that's what everybody is here, right? 6th, 7th, 8th, yep, okay. So how you spend your day is going to determine, you know, what you're able to accomplish. Focus on what you need to get done each morning, and then don't waste the rest of your day.
Good advice. And there's an easy way to do that. A couple years ago, I heard about something called My 5, and all of you can do this. It can be personal, it can be whatever you want to do. You can do it on a Post-it note. If you have some really nice stationery, you can put it in your phone, whatever you want to do. But call it My 5 and select 5 things that you want to do every day, and it will make a huge difference. Bobby Crabtree with us. How did you decide what business to start? You're very diversified.
Well, I was kicking a lot of different ideas around, and I got a phone call from a friend that wanted me to come down to Tennessee to spend the weekend with her. So on Saturday morning, her mom says, we're going to go to a fabric store. Okay, we didn't have anything else to do, so we go over. We drive through the country, down a 2-lane road to a 1-lane road to almost a dirt road, and we get to this house. She had taken a garage and had turned it into a fabric store. There were women everywhere buying fabrics. And I started to think, wow, I wonder if there's anything like that in Elizabethtown. I just couldn't believe how many people. And her mom said it's like this all the time. So I came home, started looking around Elizabethtown, and there wasn't anything like that here. And I could see myself doing what she was doing. I didn't know anything about fabrics, I didn't know anything about sewing, but I thought I'll learn. So I started a company called Bobby's Fabrics, and that was my first company. That taught me about cash flow, about marketing, how to run a business, how to hire. It taught me pretty much everything that I needed to know as I went on to start Bobby's Bridal. And then that company became Bridal Warehouse. It's now USA Bridal. And we added Tuxedo Avenue, which is a wholesale tuxedo company. And then I now import prom and pageant shoes for a company called Your Party Shoes. And we sell those shoes to stores across the United States and Canada.
So it all started in Tennessee at a little fabric store in somebody's house.
Just one little idea kind of sparked it all.
Janine, what does a middle school girl, so our audience, what do our girls need to do now to prepare for their future?
First of all, talk to your teachers and your guidance counselors to help them help you figure out what it is you think you might like to do. I ended up wasting 2 years in college studying something that I when I really should have been in engineering school, and I'm not blaming my guidance counselors because I never spoke to them in high school. But start now trying to figure that out. But I think somebody said it in the video, have a diverse pool of friends and acquaintances. The more diverse your expanse, your circle, the more likely you are to see opportunity, the more networking. You know, they talked about networking in the video and said that there's often different networks that the women run in, that the men run in. Try to make it as diverse as possible. The people that you hang out with, the people that you talk to, the people that you learn from, the people who are your mentors. They're absolutely right. Creativity comes from different sources. When everyone looks and thinks like you, you're less likely to come up with a great idea.
That was good. That was worthy of applause.
Yeah.
Don't be shy. Lydia, what made you want to be an entrepreneur? Being an entrepreneur is difficult, so why?
Well, my dad had a friend named Colonel Huff, and Colonel Huff, my dad was under him, and my dad got blessed out, and Colonel Huff didn't cuss, he blessed you out. And he told my dad he was aggravated with him, told him he either needed to be an entrepreneur or a general in the Army. So my dad didn't know what entrepreneur was. He was from Caneyville, Kentucky, and never heard that word. And Colonel Huff mentored my dad, and he also let me know, he had no children, he let me know that I could do anything I wanted. My parents raised me that way. I decided I wanted to build houses like my daddy did. That's what he ended up having, a construction company. Now he has a ladder store that my brother now runs. And so that set me on my path that I was going to work in construction, and there were no women. I will tell you that the bricklayers, the framers, the concrete companies, everybody was very, very kind to me, because construction's like the military. It's if you're lazy, they don't want you, and if you'll work hard, they love you. And that's how it started.
And it's been worth it, right?
It's been worth every moment of it. I know that, the first house I built, I was 19, and I formally went into business at 23.
Incredible. Tanya, what is the best advice you've taken in your journey as an entrepreneur?
The best advice I would have to say is from my mother, and she's going to love me for citing something that she taught me. And it was always because we grew up military, we moved around a lot. And she said, never allow the size of the community you live in dictate how large you think. So I knew there was no such thing as barriers unless I put them on myself. And that was the best advice for me, because I knew I had something inside of me that I wanted to bring out. And even if I didn't see it around me, it doesn't mean that it didn't exist. It was just waiting for me to birth it out. And that's the same thing I would tell you all. It may be something that's inside of you. We don't have it yet. It doesn't mean that it can't come from here. I do believe that there's a lot of greatness in this room, so I'm excited to see the things that you birth out as well.
Agreed. Michelle, how do you define success? I know that's a hard one. And success can mean a lot of different things for different people, but how do you define it?
You're correct. Success can be defined in many, many ways. The way that I define it is you tapping into your purpose for being here. I believe everybody has a purpose as to why they're here during this time, and tapping into that, and then moving forward with that, regardless of once again, the resources or your access to training, whatever it is. And a lot of times, I had to learn in business that failing is good. Failing is good.
Say what?
Yeah.
Failing is good?
And I listened to a lady that talked about her very public, embarrassing situation, and she learned from it, she got back up, and I'm like, you know what, I've had a lot of things happen to me that might be embarrassing or considered major failings, but the one thing that makes the difference is to keep getting back up and to keep moving forward and to use that as your stepping stone to encourage you and to know your why. That is super huge. Know your why, and you will never stop.
And we saw a lot in the film. There was a downturn there for a minute, and they were all packing their stuff and going home, and the dad's even like, welcome home, you don't even have to change anything in your room, and she's like, her face is like, I just cannot wait to get out of here, you know, and I can't wait to move on to the next thing. So it's so good to remember that we are all going to stumble, have stumbled, we're all going to fall, and sometimes it's about regrouping, rethinking our idea, and getting right back up on there. And nobody, Lisa told me this, nobody will run your business like you run your business. And that's true. So you can look to your right and look to your left and see friends there, but where it really starts and finishes is with all of you. Kelly, you're up next. Tell us the background for Mom's MedMinder and how it was born out of a situation that maybe was a little uncomfortable.
Well, I have twin girls that I mentioned earlier, and when they were about 4, they both got sick at the same time, and so I was trying to keep track of their medicines and their fevers and all the details that you have to keep straight, and they both had 2 different things. Anyway, I just had the idea of, wouldn't it be great if I could just get on my phone, even if it's in the middle of the night and I just gave them medicine, and enter in what I gave them, and then be reminded of when it was time for the next dose. And so that idea just kind of stuck with me, and I kept thinking about it and started writing down in my notebook ideas of how to make it happen. Had absolutely no idea. I'm not a technology person, so it wasn't something that came that I could just go and start developing an app on my own. I wish I did have those skills as well, but anyway, so very long story short, I ended up speaking to Lisa Boone from the Innovation Network right here in E-Town, told her my idea, and she helped connect me to the right people to help me get the next steps in place. I ended up getting investment from the Lincoln Trail Venture Group, which is here out of this area as well, and got it developed and got it built. And then in 2017, last year, it was actually acquired by Hardin Memorial Hospital, and they're in the process of revamping it, and they're going to add it into their patient portal system. So now if you have to go to Hardin Memorial Hospital, when you're discharged, if you have a prescription, then there will be a system where you'll have a medication reminder. So it turned out that's a very condensed version, but that's kind of the journey and what happened, and so now it's in their hands. It belongs to them.
And that's how great ideas are born. And Megan and I talk in Boss Lady Coaching about this a lot. Do you know how to do everything?
Me? No. Do I? Are you
No.
I know, I do not.
Hey, down there. I don't know how to do everything, and I have an idea right now in my head that I'm working on, and I don't know how to make the prototype for it. But that's okay, because there are people out there that know how to make the prototype. So all you have to do is have an idea and write it down. And Kelly, I'm glad you mentioned that about writing it in your notebook. You didn't start out with a huge business plan, right?
Right, I did end up developing into a big business plan, but at first it was just writing down ideas, and I have notebooks, which I bet many of you all do too, of ideas and things you want to do, and don't just always, sometimes they come and go and you realize maybe that's not that good of an idea, but if they stick and you have a passion for it, then you should take yourself seriously and see if you can make it happen.
Thank you, Kelly. Rebecca, what did you want to be when you were in middle school? When you were in 6th, 7th grade, what did you want to be?
Gosh, you know, I mean, this was one of the biggest things. Did you see the parents in that video and how they were pressuring that young lady to go to college? And raise your hand if you've had pressure like that from your parents. Well, you know, I mean, at this age, we don't know really what we're destined to be, and I had no idea, and especially when I was in high school. So I wanted to be able to communicate to you that it's okay. Not to know what you're going to do for the rest of your life. My dad used to say, what are you going to be for the rest of your life? And there was such pressure. But what I did do, the main thing is I took a class called Business Organizational Skills when I was in high school. It taught me typing. Typing has been the #1 thing that I have used all across my career. So I would highly encourage you to take that class and learn the skill. Because everything I did to the best of my ability. And each different avenue that I went through, I bought my first business when I was 19. I started in healthcare at 24. I started working in restoration and construction in my early 30s. I didn't go to college until I was 27 and finished with a master's when I was 32. So there's not this same plan for everybody, so don't feel that pressure, but whatever you do, do the best that you can possibly do at what you're doing that time, because you're going to use that experience when you get to where you're supposed to be in life.
Thank you for that. That's very wise. Bobby, you talked about the growth of your business, and that was one of the questions I was going to ask you. So let's go back a little bit. For those who are concerned about the part that maybe owning your own business doesn't look like a ton of fun from watching the film, it looks like a lot of hard work. What are the rewards from what you've done? How is your life different as opposed to being an entrepreneur if you hadn't taken those chances and persevered? Because it just looks like a lot of work, you know?
It is a lot of work. It is a lot of work to do what we do. This is my 30th year in bridal. I was in fabrics for, and I really can't remember, but I think probably about 10 years before that. But it's very rewarding. I love what I do, and I would tell each and every one of you all, whatever you decide to do, make sure that that's what you want to do when you get up in the morning, because that's what I want to do. My family is in the business with me, which is great. I have one son and a daughter-in-law that works with me. My mother worked with me. I've got several cousins that work with me. My fiance is in the business now working with me. So it is extremely, extremely rewarding.
Janine, how did you decide where to put your focus and energy in your career? You mentioned those lost 2 years in college. Where did you finally decide? What was the tipping point for you to decide this is what I want to do?
Well, actually, my whole career path is totally unplanned, and it sort of echoes what you said. You have to have your own dream. I remember my dad being bitterly disappointed when I switched from business to engineering, and then when I graduated going into the Air Force. He had dreams of me joining Chrysler and being Lee Iacocca's right-hand woman. And so that was not my dream, however. So it's really important to have your own dream. I've sort of been prepared for opportunity. I didn't plan to work at General Motors, then join the Air Force, and then work in the corrugated packaging industry for almost 20 years. None of that was planned. However, someone said, I think you said it, to do the best you can wherever you are, whatever job you have, learn as much as you can. The way you harness typing, I worked in the banking industry it was my first part-time job, and they taught me the keypad, the numeric keypad. I use that to this day, especially with the advent of spreadsheets. But wherever I've worked, I've been intensely curious about the rest of the business, no matter what my particular job is, and I've wanted to make the entire company or whatever it is better, and so I end up helping other people in different parts of the company, and that led to promotions. And so I think just being inquisitive, just caring enough about wherever you work and wanting to learn as much as you can about that business, about your job too. You first and foremost have to do whatever job you're hired to do, but be curious about the remainder of the company. And in a way, that's an entrepreneurial mindset. It really is. So you do any and everything. I imagine you ladies here, you do any and everything, including maybe clean the bathrooms. So,
whatever needs to be done.
Whatever needs to be done, yes. And so just be prepared for that. And it can be fun. It really is fun.
Let's talk about the fun. Lydia, do you ever have fun?
Holly, you know me well. I believe that every day when I get up, that God has gave me a choice to be happy. I can make that choice. So I make that choice. And one of the things that has allowed me to learn that is that when I was young, just from Sister Mary Cecilia in the 3rd and 4th grade, she said that you have to have a dream. You have to have a dream. And you can't have it come true unless you dream it. And every day when you're out there doing things and you see something that doesn't quite work or it's not quite the way you think it should be, there's ideas. Ideas are everywhere. And once you have got the idea, someone like Lisa Boone can help you guide you and bring you through. She's helped one of my dear friends, and he's doing awesome. And so many people here, Lisa has been there for you. Remember, Hardin County, we may be a small community, but we have every resource of the state of Kentucky behind us here. Your dreams can come true. Mine have. I have had the best mentors in the world. There weren't women for me to go to because there weren't any in the industry. But I will tell you, if you tell somebody how much you respect and admire their work and that you're trying to improve yourself and learn more, they will help you. I cannot help the people that helped me. Many of them are now gone. But it's our job as entrepreneurs to pass the dream on. The baton is in your park. You're the guys that are and gals that are going to do it for us. You're going to make the world a better place with your ideas. So don't think it's silly. Give it a shot. And that's how I live.
I love that, and you make it the choice. Tanya, you're really diversified. How do you find inspiration? Because I know, do you sleep? Because I know not a lot of sleep happens, and I'll be on Instagram or whatever, and I'm like, there she is again. And then the next morning, you're up doing your thing too. So how do you find inspiration to get up and do it every single day?
Okay, so inspiration, and because I do wear a lot of hats, but the inspiration that I get is actually knowing that it has to be done. So, I mean, it can't be done. What will happen if it doesn't get done? I'm inspired by the fact that I have, like Ms. Lydia said, breath in my body. That means that I'm able to do it. I thank God for grace every single day because I ask him, how do I manage this day? What can I do to bring glory to you in what I'm doing? Is it serving? Is it relevant? So that's the striving force that I have every single day. And I love to see people smile, and anything that I can do to aid in that, that's what, I guess that gives me my little warm and fuzzy to keep it going. Like, I can do it. I can make it happen.
Yeah, but what about the haters? Let's talk about haters.
Oh yeah. So you're always going to have somebody who does not agree with you, and that's fine. We can agree to disagree, but I don't let that stop me, because if I'm only motivated by what you think of me, then that means I've stopped thinking.
That means
and I've stopped dreaming.
Your self-worth comes from somewhere else,
yes,
right?
It does.
It doesn't come from how many likes you get on social media.
No.
Or if your selfie was the best one on,
no, because mine are always lit. I always, yeah. Fire, baby, fire. So, but my brother had to teach me that. I was like, what does that mean? He's like, it's lit. I'm like, okay, good, I got it. But, you can't, but don't let that, you all are growing up with social media. See, I didn't have that, and thank God that we have that. But, don't let anybody define what you think about you. If you hear the comment, because this comment has never changed, she thinks she's cute. She thinks she know everything. Honey, she do. She do. And it's bothering you. That's what it is. That's all it is. So anytime you hear somebody say that, say, stop thinking small. She is cute. I'm going to tell her she's cute. And don't let it bother you, because we're women in here. So let me tell you something. Start now, ladies. Start celebrating each other, because you'd be amazed at how many cat fights I put out as an adult.
Yes.
No. We're all great. So there's no little I's, big U's, honey. We're all awesome. And if you're a boss lady, you do not have the time to entertain foolishness like she thinks she.
Yes.
I could care less what she thinks she.
She thinks she. Well said. I love that. Before we get to your questions, and I hope you held on to your question, because you're going to have your opportunity in a few minutes to come up to one of the microphones and ask your question to our panel. Sometimes I'll share ideas with people, and I know immediately that I made a mistake because they put up roadblocks. And they say, oh, well, you can't do this because, and it happens a lot. So I've decided that I'm really careful with who I share things with. And that's just a good lesson for everybody, to be careful with who you share your treasures with. You can be friends with everybody, you can support everybody, but at the same time, I know that I can go to you and say, I have this idea, And you're going to say, okay, how can we get that done? Or I go to Megan or Lisa and it gets scary because they're like, what's the deadline? Let's do it. Let's start. I don't ever hear, we can't because. So be careful with your ideas. Write them down, treasure them, and then share them with people that you know that are going to help you along your path. That is incredible, because if not, you'll start to listen to that and immediately go, well, that's not going to happen. Okay, Mom's MedMinder, for instance. I'd be like, well, there's probably already an app out there like that. And Kelly'd be like, wow, I'm so sorry I shared that with you, you know? But you know what I know about Kelly? She would do it anyway. She would go and do it anyway because she's not worried about getting strength from other people. Her strength comes from herself. So, all right, now it's time for your show. So if you have a question, make your way to one of the microphones. There's one over here by the exit sign. There's also one, you see Bart with the pack over there. You can come to that one as well. Yep, one question at a time. And if you'd like, you can address a specific person on the panel, okay? All right, you ready? Okay, say your name, where you're from.
My name's Cameron Hauser, and I'm from TK Stone. How'd you guys get your business promoted to the point it's at?
Do you have a specific person you want to ask?
No.
Anybody want to jump up there? Rebecca. Rebecca, would you ask your question again?
So you asked, how did we get our business promoted to where we are?
Yeah, like how did you get so many people knowing about it to where
Sure.
it's successful?
So I worked as an insurance adjuster, and I had lots of other insurance adjuster friends, and my husband was an adjuster as well. And so when we first started the company, our first year's revenue was only $4,000. It was 2013. And that was simply because we asked friends, okay, can you use this product and tell me what do you like and what do you not like? So the first thing I would say is that, you know, you have to be willing to accept constructive criticism. And you have to not act like you know everything. I constantly say, even today, I just said it this morning to another friend, I said, I don't know what I don't know. Think about that. I don't know what I don't know. So I constantly was asking people, give me feedback on what you like about our product and how it works and how it makes it better. And then they told all their friends about how much they liked it because it was something that met their needs. So that's one of the biggest ways that we get our marketing done through and the growth of our company from our customers is because they're constantly telling other people about how much they like it. It makes them more productive and that they're able to see their homeowners faster.
Thank you. Thank you for your question. Good question. All right, up next on this side, introduce yourself. You stand. You can take the microphone off. Diane, would you help her with that? No? Okay. There we go.
My name is Kaylin, and I have a question. What inspired you to pursue your job careers?
Let's see. Let's pick somebody. Anybody want to take that? Help me out. What inspired you to do your career? Lydia, go ahead.
Well, I loved homes. I loved going to people's homes and seeing homes. And I thought, I might can do that better than that. I loved Architectural Digest, and I loved all the spring books, Southern Living. And the first house plan that I built came out of Southern Living. So what's around you can inspire you. You don't have to go to New York City or San Francisco. You can have it come in your mailbox, on your computer, on your iPad, on your cell phone, from your teacher, from your family. If there's a need and you feel there's a need, you can have a dream to fix it.
Good answer. Thank you so much for your question. Over here, would you introduce yourself?
I'm Grace, and I'm from East Hardin, and I wanted to start an idea on something for the school system, on missing the bus every day, something that you wouldn't miss the bus at all. I don't know how to start that out. Can you guys help me with that?
Yeah, jump in there. Go ahead.
I'll take that one because
All right,
I talked about the team from Davis County High School who did exactly that. Now, the system they came up with is from the high school to home, not the other way around. So if you have an idea to help kids maybe stay inside until the bus comes at the last minute from their house to school. But just look around you. If you're thinking technology, again, you don't know what you don't know. If you're not tech savvy, then I'll bet you can find some people who are, and find some people who can help you just brainstorm your idea. That's how we actually got the Lieutenant Governor's Entrepreneurship Challenge off the ground. We didn't know. I've never run a contest, and my staff and I just sat around and brainstormed with a whiteboard on how it might work and who we'd need to talk to and how we'd raise the money. And we actually partnered with the innovation centers. They're wonderful. In fact, I could recommend, start there. Go talk to the innovation center and tell them what you're thinking, and they can help you get started, at least get started, and point you in the right direction.
Thank you.
Good advice. And she's right over here, by the way, for later, so you can come see Lisa. All right. Next question.
My name is Angelica Bryant, and I'm from West Town Middle School. And I'm curious, how do you start a career? Because when I grow up, I want to do a career for biomechatronics for kids that are born with no limbs and for soldiers that come home with no limbs. So I'm curious how to start a career.
Fantastic question. Did you guys get that? Did you ladies get that? Yes, so we're talking service, but also a career in technology as well, right? So those two factors.
Can I start?
Yes, go ahead.
That was a really good question. Okay, so this is one thing I would suggest, and somebody else may want to chime in. I would suggest to start now with volunteering at services that offer any type of assistance to people with no limbs. Go to see if you can volunteer within any of the veteran centers or anything like that. They may be able to show you where you can go start in a hospital to gain that experience, and then you'll be able to see hands-on what all will be necessary if you're talking about starting a business. That's where I would start.
Excellent. So, jump in there if anybody else have a response to that? Because it was a two-part question. So also in the tech field. Does anybody in the tech portion want to take that? The Innovation Center is a good place to start too. Kelly mentioned that she did not have the tech skills, but she had the idea. So teaming up with other people as well. But I like the volunteer aspect there. Getting into the actual spot with the people that you want to help is going to take you where you want to go. Good question. Thank you very much. All right, you're next.
I'm Austin Windsor. I'm from East Hardin Middle School, and when I was 5, I was always into art and fashion. So I had started drawing clothing designs, but I don't know how to really start that career.
All right, Bobby, that one's for you.
I think that's all about me, right?
Go ahead, Bobby.
Well, I was like you. I always liked clothes. I liked all of that. I would suggest, again, get a job with somebody like me. Come in and sell prom gowns and learn the industry. I'm a good mentor for people like you. I would also recommend maybe a school like FIT in New York. Great training in that school, and start surrounding yourself and knowing people in that industry. That's what helped me a lot. When I went to market, I tried to meet as many people in the industry that were owners as well as other retailers. And just surround yourself with those people, and they'll tell you exactly what to do, believe me.
Thank you, Bobby. Good question.
Can I jump in there real quick?
Sure.
I actually learned to sew when I was a kid, and I got mainly because I wore hand-me-down clothes through high school. But I learned to sew and got really good at it to where I can do jeans and jackets and things like that. But I would draw things and make my own patterns. I highly recommend that process. It's very creative. It's a very creative, useful talent to have to learn to sew in that industry.
Good idea. Thank you for weighing in on that.
Hi, my name is Madeline Curtis. I'm from TK, and I was wondering, what was your first job, and how did you get from there to where you are now?
Who would you like to ask?
I don't know one of your names, so the lady in the white shirt right there.
Tanya? All right. Thank you for your question.
My very first job, well, I was always a worker. So when I was young, I was like 12. I became American Red Cross certified so that I could do babysitting.
Is
And that
anybody
was
else in
my
here doing
first-
that? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Is anybody else in here doing that?
That is-
Already?
that was how I started because I wanted money.
Fantastic.
I knew I wanted money, but my first real job.
Thank you.
Okay,
All right.
we hyped
Thank you.
now.
Sorry. Continue.
No, I was
Didn't
like, but my first real job that came with a paycheck, I was 15 years old, working at AFES, which is the Army Air Force Exchange, the PX. I was an ID checker, and you couldn't tell me nothing. All I did was sit on my stool and I checked the IDs to make sure, because you had to have an ID at that time to enter into the facility. So I sat on my stool every day, and I was just everything because I had that job. So that was my first job. Yes, it was. Humble beginnings.
Thank you for asking. You're next.
My name is Angela Furlot, and I'm from Bluegrass Mill. I actually want to start something for long-time bullying victims and to help get their metabolism up back into those high ranks. And I doubt myself a lot, and I was wanting to have one of your help to, inspiration.
Okay, when you say metabolism, do you mean medically or do you mean feeling good about yourself?
Feeling good about yourself.
All right, every one of these ladies can tell you something about feeling good about yourself. Go ahead.
Well, what I would say to you is to definitely put yourself in an encouraging environment of people who are going to build you up. And so if you're around friends that don't do that, I would probably expand my horizon in that. I would begin to write affirmations about myself, of the things that you can look at yourself and see. Being able to just stand up there and ask a question in front of everybody and doing it in spite of being afraid, that's a strength right there. So finding those things about yourself, putting yourself around positive people can help encourage yourself. And then also giving back to others who can't give back to you, to me, is another way to help build that you're doing something for someone else, not because of what you're going to get back from them, but just it makes you feel good to give back to others. So I would encourage you to do that.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay, what's your name, sweetheart?
Angela?
Okay, Angela, so first of all, you are the best ever because you mastered that today. You handled it like a boss. You did that.
Thank you so much.
So the next thing, I would have to mimic a little bit of what Michelle was saying regarding your surroundings, because a lot of times when you're around people, you don't realize, you're thinking, well, this is like my best friend, but if your best friend is tearing you down or not encouraging you, that's really not your best friend. That's a comfortable friend. Really not a friend, they're just comfortable to be around. So I would definitely admonish you to really consider your circle. The second thing is when you see other people that may be facing with the bullying or anything, see if you can actually go over and encourage them as well. Because a lot of times there is encouragement that needs to be met. You don't need a rally to say, okay, we're against bullying, because we all are. So anything we can do to help with that and bring it down, we're all in agreement. We will definitely do, because it's not right. The next thing I would say, more than anything, is seek out mentors, adults, that can help you with your project, what you're trying to do, and maybe you can do some small groups even in your school to get the name out and get it started. And trust me, every last person sitting up here, we love to help you.
Yes. And
So
we
you-
also know what it's like to
Yes.
be bullied.
Yes, definitely.
sure.
So we got your back.
We got
Angela,
you.
you go, girl.
Thank you for asking. I appreciate that. I appreciate their responses.
Thank
That was
you
very
so-
brave.
Thank you so much.
We have 10 minutes left, so we're going to take a couple more questions because, like I said, we're on a time crunch today. So let's get through those questions in a very short period of time before we say goodbye to you. After you.
My name is Patience Malone. I'm from TK Stone, and this is for all of you. Do you like where you're at now or from the beginning?
Good question. All right. From the start as an entrepreneur or now?
I'll take that one. That was such a good question, and I'm so proud of you too, Angela. I don't know where you went, but I know it's a time crunch, but I'm just proud of you. That was amazing. Almost brought tears to my eyes. You were very brave. But to your question, yes, you know what? It's funny. It doesn't matter how successful you are, what stage you are in your career, what age you are, how much money you make. Anything doesn't matter as long as you are happy with yourself and how hard you're trying. Those outside things don't define you, so it doesn't matter for me anyway whether I was starting from the ground up and didn't know if my company was going to work out. I still felt happy because I was trying, and I was trying my best, as everybody said. So I was happy then, and I'm happy now, and I'm happy that I've started a new career, and I'm able to help other businesses with where they're trying to go. So yes, I am very happy, but I think you can't and not that you are, but I think you can't constantly be looking to seek out that when something happens, you're going to be happy or feel excited about where you are, but just always be happy in this whatever space you're in at that moment.
And like Lydia said, it's a choice.
It's a choice.
It's a choice.
Yes,
So,
it's a choice.
And deciding to be happy and be excited because you are doing your absolute best. I think we all could say that. Yes, young lady.
Hi, my name is Carly Sanders. I go to Bluegrass Middle, and I wanted to know if any of you guys ever thought that you chose the wrong career in the beginning.
Good question. Anybody want to step on that one?
I will definitely answer that.
All right.
So I was very computer interested and thought that it would be great for me to go to college to be able to learn how to be a programmer. Does anybody have any classes that are just really, really easy for you, but some of them are really hard for you? Yes, that was me. I wasted what I thought was the first year of college learning how to be a programmer because I had to study and study and study, and I still made C's barely. But then I had a business elective, and it was very easy for me in that business class. I made an A, and it would just come natural to me. So I would say that one of the things that you should do is identify what comes easy, because that's your talent. That's your natural gift given to you. And then focus in that area, and don't worry about the things that are hard. Don't worry about the things that pull you back or hold you down. But it's ironic that, I spent that first year in college because I would never in a million years would have dreamed that I would own a technology company. I would have never dreamed that I would be a designer of software. But you know what? Really, I'm just a designer of improving a process utilizing technology. But that first year of college, even though it was terrible and it was hard and I wanted to quit, it was one of the best things that I did was suffer through that to be able to get to where I am today.
Thank you for your question. All right, we have time for two more. Yes, ma'am. Step on up. Thank you. Thank you, Diane.
I'm MJ Murray from TK Stone, and I just really wanted to know, has Tanya ever been on TV, like Girl Meets World?
Oh, have you ever been on TV? She's asking if you've ever been on TV.
I have been on TV. Yes, I have. And then
what was the other question?
Like, have you been on Girl Meets World?
No, I haven't. No.
Apparently, she thinks that you need to be on TV, and
Well,
I agree.
We can get that.
We can have our own show. So,
but no show. Not yet. It's coming.
It's coming. All right. Good question. All right. Last question. It's yours.
I'm Kelly McCabe from West Hardin.
She has a fan club.
I love it. I love it.
All right. Ask your question.
I wanted to see if I could talk to people in the community, but I wanted to start like a group or something for young girls who have been raped or abused as children, or even if they're still going through it, just like a center or something, like in the show The Fosters, how Callie sets up the whole refuge and everything.
All right. I'll start on this one, and if there's somebody that's formulating something that wants to finish, you're welcome to do that, panel. There is an organization called Silverleaf here in Elizabethtown, and that's exactly what they do. And just like Tanya said, I would suggest that you contact Silverleaf and ask them if there is some capacity in which you could volunteer. They are a rape crisis. Not only that, but they offer everything from the medical portion to the counseling portion, not just for the person, but for the whole family. So Silverleaf is the name of that organization. And does anyone else in our panel have anything to add to that? I know some of us have experience with that. Yeah. Good question, and absolutely, contact Silverleaf and see if you can help them with that. I'm sure they could use your help. So, all right.
Can I just say one last thing before we close? I know we're out of questions. Can I just add one last thing? And this is to Angela. I see you here. I just want to commend you because you did something that's so critical that it's something that I've done throughout my entire career. You did something that was way outside your comfort zone. And when you do that, when you take classes that are outside your comfort zone, which I highly recommend, find that one class you think you're not going to like. If you're sitting there saying, math isn't for me, chemistry isn't for me, robotics isn't for me, whatever it is, just try it. Just take one class, because you never know where it's going to lead you. The bane of my existence was speech class. And now here I am. Look, my palms are not sweaty. I'm talking to you all. But I just commend you for standing up and doing that. You're going to be great. You are going to do, and all of you are. There is greatness in this room, as someone said earlier. And I just wanted to commend all of you. And I look forward to seeing what you all do in the future. And you'll be in these chairs soon. So thank you. Awesome.
All right, we have a treat for you from one of our entrepreneurs.
Also, when you came in the door, you guys received a coupon. That is for a free scoop of ice cream. So make sure you bring that. And I'm available at any time if you have any questions. You can actually ask me one-on-one. Our place is a facility that promotes family and family togetherness. Even though I'm all about technology, because I had that as a business too, we encourage you to put your phones down and communicate with one another and provide some interaction with your family members.
Thank you. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Rebecca, Bobby, Janine, and Lydia. And thank you for coming to She Started It. Lisa is going to close us out this afternoon, or almost afternoon. We're right on time.
I just wanted to thank again the wonderful panel that we have today. And girls, these are women right here in our community that have done what we saw in this movie. They had an idea, they stuck with it, they persevered, they probably had a few failures behind them. And they're role models, and they're here. Any of these ladies would be happy to mentor you and to talk to you at any time. A couple of these girls I know for sure have done exactly what we saw in that film. They got up and they pitched their idea in front of venture capitalists, and they asked for money to get their companies off the ground. It wasn't easy. They worked and they worked to refine that pitch, just like these girls that we saw there. One of your panelists here, Rebecca, I will tell you, was looking to raise $600,000. She got up in front of a group, and before she was finished, she had $1 million. So, right. So it can be done, and it is being done right here. Bobby, you've heard her story. She started out as a teenager with a little fabric store over on Hawkins Drive. Look what she has grown that into a multi-million-dollar company in several states. She's right here in Hardin County. She was a little girl right here in Hardin County schools that had that dream. So you all can do it too. One thing that I heard one of the panelists say is that we need to help each other and support each other. And I used to be in a group, and this lady always said, we never speak ill of our sisters. So please keep that in mind when you start the business world, even in your school now. You know, we got enough trouble out there. We've got boys to deal with. Let's all stick together, okay? Don't speak ill of your sisters. So again, thank you to our panelists. Thanks again to our wonderful sponsors. They were very, very generous. They got out their checkbooks and they wrote some pretty big checks. We want to thank our sponsors for the generous checks that made today possible. Special thanks to our Lieutenant Governor, Janine Hampton, who came down. She is a very busy lady, but she took her whole morning out to come down here because she believes passionately in entrepreneurism, education. Be thinking about that Lieutenant Governor's challenge over the next few years. We want to see you girls in there with your great ideas. Again, if you do have an idea, come and see me. I'm Lisa Boone with the Kentucky Innovation Network, and that's all I do. That's what I live to do, is to help you get your good idea off the ground. So I think now we're going to have dismissal instructions. Thank you, girls, for coming out. Thank you for giving us your attention.
Thank you.